of a company he gave most of his working life to.
As far as conditions, it would be a shithole. The way you treat people would be awful. I mean, just, you know, the people, they're nothing. They're just a number. You move them in and out. I mean, if they don't do the job, you fire them. If they get hurt, complain about safety, you put a bullseye on them. I mean,
that means they're targeted.
They're targeted. They're targeted. That means that they're not going to have a job in the near future.
Last year, suffering from stress and recovering from the death of his wife in a car accident, Rester says he found himself targeted.
I went off sick, first time in 25 years, and they started giving me a hard time about that, and I never could understand why. And then I finally realized that they were doing to me what I've watched them do for 25 years to other people.
This is the largest of the McWane foundries. It's in Tyler, East Texas. Tyler illustrates the McWane way of doing business. They bought the place in '95, got rid of 2/3 of the workforce, and tried to sustain production levels through what they call disciplined management practices, with results described by a safety inspector in Dickensian terms. Many workers have scars or disfigurations which are noticeable from several feet away. Burns and amputations are frequent. Throughout the plant, in supervisors' offices and on bulletin boards next to production charts is posted in big orange letters, "Reduce man-hours per ton."
I'm embarrassed for people to even know that I have been employed by those people.
After 42 years at Tyler Pipe, Ron Howell, a design engineer, retired last year. Howell says McWane manages to squeeze big profits from plant machinery, but at a high human cost.
A human being can only hit so many buttons on a machine. If he's operating a machine, they put another machine behind him. Now he's got to operate 2 machines. Well, they got room to put another machine over here, and now he's got to work 3 machines.
Howell claims McWane managers made workers curtail even the most basic human needs in the name of productivity.
When they hold up their hand, they need to go to the bathroom. They're told, "You can hold it." No, just don't. And they've had to sit there and, excuse me, they've urinated in their pants.
An obsession with productivity can compromise safety on the shop floor, especially in a shop that's hot and noisy, a confusing whirl of wheels and pulleys and conveyor belts. There are rules that machinery like this should be enclosed and should be turned off for maintenance. Rules among many which have been consistently ignored at McWane plants, with tragic results. May 1996, Jerry Hobson was caught in an unguarded machine and crushed. After 20 operations to repair the damage, he died. January 1997, Ira Coffer was trapped for 2.5 hours while an unguarded conveyor slowly chewed his left arm off. After Ira Coffer lost his arm, the carnage at Tyler Pipe continued. In December 2000, the top American safety regulator wrote about the Texas plant, "Safety has not been a primary concern to management. More than 60% of maintenance workers have been injured on the job, including 2 fatalities and numerous amputations."
When we have a road company, when we have a renegade company like this, and our local staff knows that there are problems, they send a message up the line that, hey, here's somebody we need to get their attention.
Charles Jeffress, former head of the Federal Occupational Health and Safety Administration, called OSHA, says the rules are clear. Enforcement is another matter.
The problem is that the maximum penalty is a misdemeanor. It's $500,000 is a maximum penalty. You can't send someone to jail for any significant period of time for willfully violating the law and killing somebody. That's the problem.
Not surprisingly, worker turnover in McWane plants like Tyler is high, sometimes 100% a year. Here, the company copes with the high turnover by recruiting convicts from local prisons.
The word had got out about Tyler Pipe, what the management philosophy was, how the employees were treated. You couldn't find a local in East Texas that really wanted that job, and if they took it, they'd be gone in a month.
But then there are the desperate, like Roland Hoskin.
So he's working for Data Tech.
His daughter and twin brother say he had nowhere else to turn when he took a maintenance job on the graveyard shift at Tyler Pipe in May 2000.
That's got to be low in there.
He was divorced, deep in debt, and he was afraid.
He was always, saying how dangerous it was out there. That's all. He didn't, really the training wasn't adequate. He didn't believe, nobody showed nobody how to do nothing. They just, you're on your own.
At 4 a.m., June 29, 2000, he entered a sand pit to adjust a moving, unguarded conveyor belt. The machine grabbed his arm. Investigators' graphic and disturbing photographs reveal he never had a chance. Trying to fix a moving conveyor was a dangerous but routine practice in the plant. In the wake of the accident, the company argued that it was his own fault.
My dad isn't the kind of person, he wasn't stupid. He wasn't stupid, but he didn't want to lose his job. And he felt like if he didn't do whatever he needed to do, that he would lose his job. And he was just trying to make it. Trying to get back on his feet and make it.
Roland Hoskin, one of 9 workers killed at McWane since 1995. 3, including Hoskin, because of what investigators called deliberate safety lapses by the company. For Hoskin's death, the company pled guilty to a misdemeanor and paid a $250,000 fine. In Anniston, Alabama, Union Foundry is another McWane plant plagued by safety problems. Conspicuous admonitions like this are just so much window dressing, according to a former manager here.
Safety starts here with attitude. So that's another just for public, to try to make the public look like that they're really concerned about somebody's health and all, and they say it starts with attitude, and you can walk through that gate and the attitudes in there, it's unbelievable how bad they are.
Reginald Elston's file is grimly consistent with many others we've investigated. An electrician, out of the Navy, had a baby daughter, needed work, took a job at Union Foundry on maintenance. August 22, 2000, working at a conveyor belt that was running and unguarded. He was yanked headfirst into a machine where he died, his left hand just inches away from the red safety shutdown switch. When we come back, trouble at McWane's most accident-prone plant in Quebec.
And now we return to the Fifth Estate and a special inquiry with the New York Times and PBS Frontline.
From what we've learned, it's a miracle that only 9 people have been killed in McWane plants in the past 7 years. McWane American Foundries have been cited for 595 safety violations, 4 times the number for their 3 largest competitors combined. When Reginald Elston died at Union Foundry in August 2000, Clyde Dorn was in charge of safety. He spoke with our colleague David Barstow of the New York Times.
You're the safety director.
Yes.
You do monthly walkthroughs.
Yes.
Looking for safety problems. How had this escaped your attention?
There was new construction going on in that department. As a matter of fact, they were putting in a whole new machine. They told me that this particular belt was a part of the new construction. I was not allowed to get involved in new construction.
So in fact, this tail pulley was actually in regular operation.
From what I understand afterwards, yes.
Clyde Dorn's resume might provide some insight into McWane's safety problems. As the safety boss at Union, he was a personally troubled alcoholic who recently went to jail for trafficking in the painkiller OxyContin. He worked at Union Foundry for 6 years.
Had you ever worked in a foundry before?
No, I'd never worked in a foundry.
How many previous jobs had you held as a safety director